Cruise lines have mastered one thing: getting you to spend more money after you've already paid for your cruise. A better cabin, Wi-Fi, drink packages, specialty restaurants, excursions, spa treatments, and a dozen other extras that suddenly seem impossible to live without. But here's the problem. Some cruise purchases are absolutely worth the money. Others are expensive traps disguised as upgrades. So today, I'm breaking down 12 cruise purchases that can actually be worth paying for, and I'll tell you exactly who should buy them, who should skip them, and where you could be wasting hundreds of dollars. And number one is something you need to get right before you even step foot on the ship. But before we get into the list, make sure you subscribe to Cruise Intel if you want practical cruise tips, money-saving hacks, and advice that helps you avoid expensive mistakes on your next sailing. And stay with me, because at the end, I'll give you a simple 3-question test you can use before buying almost any cruise upgrade. Here's my rule for cruise spending. A purchase is worth considering if it does one of 3 things. It saves you money, it saves you stress, or it significantly improves something you'll actually use. If it doesn't do one of those 3 things, keep your wallet closed. Because the goal isn't to spend more on your cruise. The goal is to get more from every dollar you spend. So let's get into number 12. 12. Specialty dining. Let's start with something almost every cruise line will aggressively try to sell you: specialty dining. Now, don't get me wrong. Specialty dining can absolutely be worth the money, but I wouldn't automatically book it every night. Your cruise fare already includes plenty of food: the main dining room, buffet, casual restaurants, snacks, and usually several other options. So when you pay extra for specialty dining, you're not necessarily paying because you need more food. You're paying for a different experience. Maybe it's a quieter restaurant, better service, a slower-paced dinner, or simply a meal that feels like an occasion. That's why I think specialty dining makes the most sense for an anniversary, birthday, date night, or one memorable evening on a longer cruise. And here's a money-saving tip: check the lunch menu. Some specialty restaurants offer the same experience for less than dinner. Also check dining packages and book early if the restaurant is popular. But if you're perfectly happy with the included food, skip it. Don't pay extra because the cruise line tells you the included dining isn't enough. Pay extra because you want one meal to feel special. 11. Prepaid gratuities. This next one isn't going to make your cruise more luxurious, but it can make your vacation budget much easier to control. Prepaid gratuities. Depending on the cruise line, daily gratuities or service charges are added to your onboard account throughout the sailing. Now, here's the important part. Prepaying doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a discount. The real benefit is predictability. You handle that expected expense before you board, so you're not watching another daily charge appear on your account while you're trying to enjoy your vacation. That can be especially helpful for first-time cruisers, families, or anyone working with a specific travel budget. And remember, gratuity policies vary between cruise lines, so always check the current rules for your sailing before deciding whether to prepay. Think of it this way. You're not necessarily buying a cheaper cruise. You're making your cruise expenses easier to predict. And that's valuable because onboard spending has a sneaky way of adding up. A drink here, a photo there, a specialty coffee, a souvenir, and suddenly that final bill is much higher than you expected. You're not necessarily buying a discount. You're buying predictability. 10. Wi-Fi package. Cruise Wi-Fi can be one of the smartest purchases you make or one of the biggest wastes of money. It really depends on why you need it. If you're traveling with kids at home, checking on family, monitoring a pet sitter, watching flight changes, coordinating independent excursions, or handling work, having reliable internet can give you tremendous peace of mind. But that doesn't mean you need the most expensive package. If all you need is messaging, email, and occasional browsing, a basic plan may be enough. If you need streaming, video calls, or remote work, that's when a higher tier package might make sense. Before buying, compare the price before your cruise with the onboard price. Also check how many devices are included and exactly what the package allows you to do. And ask yourself one simple question: what problem is this internet actually solving for me? If the answer is family, work, travel logistics, or peace of mind, it may be worth every penny. But if you're buying it just because you're afraid you'll be bored without your phone, you might want to reconsider. Don't buy internet because you're afraid of being disconnected. Buy it because you know what you're going to use it for. 9. Thermal suite or spa access. Here's one cruise upgrade that many passengers completely overlook: the thermal suite. Depending on the ship, a thermal suite might include saunas, steam rooms, heated loungers, hydrotherapy areas, relaxation rooms, or other quiet spaces away from the busiest parts of the ship. And that's where the real value is. You're not necessarily paying for a spa treatment. You're paying for somewhere to escape when the pool deck is packed, the buffet is crowded, and the ship feels like it's at full capacity. It can be especially appealing on longer cruises with lots of sea days, or cooler weather itineraries like Alaska, Norway, Northern Europe, and transatlantic crossings. But don't buy a thermal suite pass just because someone on another ship loved theirs. Facilities vary dramatically. Before paying, check the actual ship's photos, recent reviews, access rules, size, and what's included. A beautiful thermal suite with plenty of space can be fantastic. A tiny, crowded room may not be worth the price. So remember, you're not paying for heat. You're paying for a quiet place to escape the crowds. 8. Specialty coffee/non-alcoholic drink package. You don't have to drink alcohol for a cruise beverage package to make sense. If your ideal cruise morning starts with a specialty coffee, you like sparkling water throughout the day, maybe a mocktail by the pool, and a soda with dinner, a non-alcoholic drink package could actually be a better fit than an expensive alcohol package. But here's where cruisers get into trouble. They see the word package and assume they're automatically saving money. You're not. Before buying one, think about what you would normally purchase if there were no package. If you buy one coffee a day and occasionally grab a soda, paying for unlimited drinks probably doesn't make sense. But if you're regularly buying specialty coffees, bottled water, mocktails, and other included beverages, the numbers can start to work. And don't let a limited time discount make the decision for you. A discount on something you don't need is still money spent. So ask yourself one simple question. What would I normally buy if there were no package? That's the number that matters. 7. Cruise line excursions in complicated ports. Here's where paying more can actually reduce your risk. In an easy port, you may not need a cruise line excursion at all. If the attractions are close, transportation is simple, navigation is easy, and you have plenty of time, exploring independently can give you more flexibility and potentially save you money. But complicated ports are different. If the main attraction is 2 hours away, traffic is unpredictable, transportation is confusing, or your time in port is tight, an organized cruise excursion can be worth paying extra for. You're getting transportation, organization, a guide, and a schedule built around the ship. And that's important because missing the ship isn't just inconvenient. It can become extremely expensive. Imagine trying to find your own transportation back to a ship that's already sailed. That's why I use this rule. The cheapest excursion isn't always the cheapest decision. If the port is simple, explore independently. If it's far, complicated, unfamiliar, or time-sensitive, paying more for the cruise line excursion may be money well spent. 6. Travel insurance. This one isn't really an upgrade. It's protection for everything you've already spent. Think about how many moving parts are involved in a cruise: flights, hotels, transfers, the cruise itself, excursions, luggage, and sometimes several countries. Now imagine one flight delay causes you to miss embarkation, or an emergency forces you to cancel, or you need medical treatment while you're traveling. That's where travel insurance can become extremely valuable. Before buying a policy, compare the actual coverage, not just the price. Look at medical coverage, emergency evacuation, cancellation, trip interruption, missed connections, baggage, and policy exclusions. And don't assume every traveler needs the same level of coverage. Your trip, budget, destination, and circumstances all matter. The key is understanding what you're protecting and what the policy actually covers. Because imagine spending thousands on a cruise, flights, and hotels, and then one unexpected event wipes out that investment. Insurance isn't about expecting something to go wrong. It's about deciding who pays if something does. 5. Balcony cabin, but only on the right cruise. Here's the cruise upgrade people argue about more than almost anything else: the balcony cabin. And I'm not going to tell you that everyone needs one. A balcony is worth paying for on the right itinerary and for the right traveler. Think Alaska, Norway, the Panama Canal, scenic coastal routes, or certain Mediterranean sailings where the view is a major part of the experience. On those cruises, having your own private outdoor space can be fantastic. You can step outside with your morning coffee, watch the scenery go by, and enjoy the view without fighting for space on the public decks. But on a port-heavy itinerary, you might spend most of the day off the ship. And if you barely use your cabin, that expensive balcony upgrade may not be the best use of your money. So before paying hundreds more, ask yourself, how many hours am I realistically going to spend on that balcony? Don't pay for a balcony because it sounds luxurious. Pay for one if the view is part of why you're taking the cruise. 4. The right beverage package. This is where cruisers can lose a lot of money without realizing it. A beverage package feels like freedom. You don't have to think about every drink, every receipt, or whether that cocktail is worth another $12. But here's the trap. You can end up drinking more simply because you paid for the package. So before you buy one, do the math. Take the daily package price and divide it by the average price of the drinks you would actually order. That gives you a rough idea of how many drinks you'd need each day to reach the package's value. For example, if the package costs $80 a day and your average drink costs $12, you're looking at roughly 7 drinks a day. Now ask yourself, are you really going to drink 7 drinks every day? And don't forget port days. If you're off the ship for 8 hours, you have much less time to use that package. A beverage package can make sense for heavier drinkers, sea-day-heavy cruises, or anyone who genuinely values the convenience. But if you drink lightly, mostly drink water, or you're buying it because it's on sale, think twice. A discount on a drink package you don't need isn't a discount. It's an expensive purchase you made 20% cheaper. 3. Priority and convenience upgrades. Here's something most cruisers get wrong. Convenience isn't automatically worth paying for, but sometimes your time is worth more than the money. Depending on your cruise line and sailing, you may find paid options for things like priority embarkation, priority disembarkation, priority tendering, airport transfers, or other faster boarding and transportation benefits. So when can these be worth it? If you're traveling with young children, have mobility concerns, need to catch an early flight, have a tight post-cruise schedule, or you're dealing with a port where tendering can mean long waits, paying for convenience may make sense. But if you have nowhere to be and you're perfectly happy waiting in line, save your money. And here's an important distinction. You're not necessarily buying luxury. You're buying time. That can be especially valuable at the beginning and end of a cruise, when long lines and complicated transportation can turn a simple travel day into a frustrating one. So don't pay for priority simply because it sounds premium. Ask yourself how much that saved time is actually worth to you. You're not buying luxury. You're buying time. 2. Travel smarter. The above, below, and beside rule. Here's something many cruisers don't realize. 2 cabins in the exact same category can deliver completely different experiences. Why? Because what's around your cabin matters almost as much as the cabin itself. Before you book, use what I call the above, below, and beside rule. Look above you. Is there a pool deck, buffet, theater, nightclub, or fitness center? Look below you. Is there a public area, entertainment venue, or service space? And look beside you. Are you next to elevators, stairwells, a theater, nightclub, or crew area? This matters even more depending on how you travel. If you're a light sleeper, prioritize quiet surroundings. If you're sensitive to motion, a lower, more central location may be worth considering. If mobility is a concern, being closer to an elevator can make the ship much easier to navigate. And for families, connecting cabins may sometimes be more useful than simply buying one larger room. Don't just choose a cabin. Choose the environment around the cabin. Because that brings us to the number 1 cruise purchase worth getting right. 1. The right cabin for your cruise. This is the purchase I would think about before spending serious money on almost any other cruise upgrade. And no, I'm not saying everyone needs a suite or even a balcony. I'm saying you need the right cabin for the way you actually cruise. If you mainly use your room to sleep, shower, and change clothes, an interior cabin could be the smartest value. If natural light matters, but you don't care about outdoor space, an ocean view may be enough. If you're taking a scenic cruise through Alaska or Norway, a balcony could be worth paying more for because the view is part of the experience. And if you value extra space, premium amenities, or a higher level of service, a suite might make sense. But here's what matters most. Location. Imagine spending hundreds more for a beautiful balcony, only to discover your cabin is directly underneath the pool deck. At 6 in the morning, instead of enjoying your peaceful ocean view, you're listening to chairs being dragged across the deck above you. The balcony wasn't the problem. The location was. That's why the smartest cruise upgrade isn't necessarily the one that looks the most impressive. It's the one you'll actually use. And unlike a drink, dinner, or excursion, you experience your cabin every single day of the cruise. Choose the right cabin, and you can improve the entire vacation, not just one afternoon. The 3-question buying test. Before you spend another dollar on your cruise, I want you to remember 3 simple questions. First, would I still buy this if the cruise line wasn't advertising it as a deal? Because 20% off sounds exciting, but if you never needed it in the first place, you haven't saved 20%. You've spent 80%. Second, how often will I actually use it? Once during a 7-day cruise? Every morning? Every single day? The more you use something, the easier it is to justify paying for it. And third, what problem is this purchase actually solving? Is it saving you money? Reducing stress? Saving time? Making you more comfortable? Or creating an experience you genuinely want? If you can't answer those 3 questions, don't buy it yet. Put your wallet away, think about it, and come back to the decision later. Because the best cruise purchase isn't the one with the biggest discount. It's the one that actually improves your vacation. 5 cruise purchases I'd think twice about. Now, before you start spending, here are 5 cruise purchases I'd think very carefully about. First, a drink package that requires you to drink all day just to break even. Second, specialty dining every night when you're already perfectly happy with the included restaurants. Third, an expensive Wi-Fi package when all you really need is occasional messaging. Fourth, paying hundreds more for a balcony on a cruise where you'll spend most of your time ashore. And fifth, any limited-time deal you weren't planning to buy in the first place. That last one is especially important. Cruise lines are very good at making you feel like you have to make a decision right now. But you don't. A deal isn't automatically a good deal just because there's a countdown clock next to it. Remember, the cruise line's goal is to increase your spending. Your goal is to increase your enjoyment. Now I want to hear from you. What's the one cruise purchase you've made that was absolutely worth every penny? And what's the one cruise purchase you completely regret making? Tell me both in the comments. Your answer could save another cruiser hundreds of dollars on their next vacation. And if you want cruise tips that help you spend smarter, avoid expensive mistakes, and get more from every sailing, subscribe to Cruise Intel. Because you don't need to spend more to have a better cruise. You just need to spend smarter.